All right, guys, we are live and we are about to dive in. Spoiler alert, obviously, it's in the description. So if you're here, you're warned. We are going to be talking about the newly dropped, the highly anticipated, especially for Sopranos fans, The Many Saints of Newark. It finally dropped at 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. My man Juwaan from Geek Vibes Nations, who's here, he did watch it at 3 a.m. And of course, my other sidekick James. We coincidentally we didn't even schedule it that way. We both watched it at the same time from
Mhm.
different locations this morning. All right, so I want to get into it. Look, there were earlier reviews. I didn't read them again. I tend to stay away from reviews because I've learned whether good or bad, they can manipulate how you might feel.
Yeah.
Even if it's a franchise or a series you love, it can manipulate how you might feel and think going in. So I always like going in cold.
I saw like one review, but I completely ignored it. I said, I don't give a
They
shit. I'm
kept
still
saying
going
the
to
same
watch it.
thing, like it was
Yeah.
stale, not stale. What was it?
Disappointing, I heard. Yeah.
No. What was the analogy? There's something about pasta pasta without the sauce.
Without the sauce. Yeah.
Pasta without the sauce was one of the headlines
Mhm.
for the review, and I never clicked it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go around the room, and I'll get to me a little later. But Juwaan, since you're our special guest here, I already know how you felt, but let everybody know how you felt and what it made. And again, for those of you who have seen The Sopranos grown up, like me and James, we watched it from the very beginning. I'm lying. I was a little late to the show. I didn't watch it till the end of the first season. I didn't go on the
Yeah. I
bandwagon
don't
just
know
yet.
whether I started it right from the beginning either. I might have gotten into it a year or two afterwards.
Right. But for the most part, we watched it,
Mhm.
and it's something that we've seen 20 years ago and more.
Mhm.
And well, not 20 years ago. Wait, can't do the math. It is 20, yeah, over 20 years ago.
Yeah. Over
99,
20
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Juwan, you just binge watched this over the pandemic last year. So everything is fresh in your mind.
Mhm.
You were younger when this came out, so you never watched it.
Right.
Coming from somebody who is new to the series and new to the franchise, what did this make you feel and how did you think of it?
Well, as someone that's from New Jersey, I was very, 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 very proud of this movie. I don't know what any of the reviewers are saying, but this show, it's not. It's very much. This show is very much structured like Godfather, to where it's all story. You don't get the constant shootouts and the constant, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
assassinations and whatnot. It's supposed to be a slow, methodical story,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to just be interested in the story.
Yep.
I think some
And
of
the
these
characters.
viewers,
Yep.
right? I think some of these viewers just don't have the attachment, and maybe that's where their assessment is coming from. But like you said, I was 8 or 9 when this show first came out. I remember when my dad and my brother watched the finale when
Mm-hmm.
they all sat at the restaurant, and then when it went black, I remember my dad ran through the house because he thought the power went out. Like
We all did.
Everybody did.
he's just like, I'm gonna break something, and I'm like, what is the problem? And he's just
Oh, I
like,
was pissed.
I need to know what happened. You know,
Yeah.
and there was no social media for like the showrunner to come out and go, oh no, don't worry guys, that was the end. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You had to pick up a newspaper, watch
Yep.
the news the next day. So that was a very volatile time in my house
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
during that. But I love this show. I love Tony. I love these characters. This movie was so necessary
Oh, yeah.
because
Definitely.
it answered so many questions. The biggest question any diehard Sopranos fan had was, what did happen to Christopher's father?
Yep.
Right.
What happened?
Yeah.
And I love how petty it was
Yep.
of what actually happened. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I loved it. Everyone was so amazing in their roles. Corey Stoll, I think he deserves an Oscar. I know this movie will never be nominated for anything, but the way he portrayed Junior,
Yeah.
I mean, you just couldn't have done any
It
better.
was perfect. Yeah. They couldn't have got anybody else to play Junior better than
Yep.
Corey Stoll.
Not,
Yeah.
Even the actor they got to play him in the series, as younger Junior and younger Johnny. I think these
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
I might have liked the younger Johnny on The Sopranos a tad more. Nothing
Yeah.
against. I love John Barenthal,
Mhm.
but Juwaan, I cannot express how much I agree with you with Corey Stoll, and that was one of the things I told James when I called him. I couldn't believe how much of a spitting image he
It was
was of
perfect.
Junior. The mannerisms, the way he cursed, everything.
Everything. And also, I also loved because I remember Tony's sister talking about when his mom got shot in the hair. And I remember
That's
that
right.
was hysterical.
when you're listening to it, you're just like, that sounds like ridiculous.
Yeah.
You watch it,
And they show
she's
it. Yeah.
driving, she's so hysterical, bow.
Boom.
And I thought for a second, because I forgot, I'm like, did he just shoot her in the
That's
head?
what I thought too. I'm
And
like,
I'm
what
like,
the fuck did I
what's
just
going
watch?
on? Yeah. And then it's like, oh yes, I remember.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
She told the story. And I love how everyone in the back was just like, I ain't got nothing to do with this.
You know what
I'm
that
glad
scene
that you
reminded
said
me
that
of,
because
though?
I actually forgot about that. I'm glad
But you know what
said
that scene reminded me of when it happened? You know when you watch movies or shows and the main character will do something, but it's in his head and doesn't really do it. He was just thinking
Right.
about doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought he
Yeah.
shot her in the head
Yeah.
dead. I was like, but then I realized it went through her hair.
Her hair.
Yeah. And then I
Um,
remembered as well what the story that the sister had said.
Right. And then obviously seeing, because I believe this was what Tony was talking about in therapy to his therapist, seeing the carnival bus in real time.
Yeah, that was. I
Seeing the
brought that
whole
up.
thing
We were
play
talking
out.
about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That was just like mwah, chef's kiss.
That was great.
That was done really well. And then let me see.
Wait, the carnival bust actually happened on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed it in the show because he was
That's what he's talking about. Yeah.
But I'm saying now we get to see it like
Right.
from the lens
Gotcha.
of the actual time
Yeah.
that it happened in. And Vera deserves all the praise.
Oh, she was great.
It's something about Tony's mom that is like a notch above, just unbearable. And Vera found a way to even make it more unbearable, not in a bad way.
No, I know what you
Way
mean.
of just like, oh, that's Tony's mom. I remember. She is just the worst.
When
The worst.
when she was walking away, after the teacher had told her what Tony had told her, right? And she seemed like she was like spoiling him. She made him like a really good breakfast or whatever. And then she walks away and then she's like, oh, go on. Like that was exactly what Olivia did.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I loved it.
The mannerisms, perfect.
And her catchphrase, poor you.
Oh, poor you. Yeah.
Poor you, Tony. It was just perfect. And last thing I'll add is I love that the pork store was indeed in this movie to just
That's
show
reality. Yeah.
Yep. That it's just a lineage. It's a lineage. It wasn't just something Tony did in the show. It has legs to it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
So I mean, I love this movie. I have not one bad thing to say about it. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short. The story was very cohesive. It wasn't all over the place. The only thing that caught me off guard was seeing Ray Liotta die.
Yeah.
Seeing him again.
I was actually
Nobody
surprised
expected
by
it
that.
because only from the trailers. If we wouldn't have seen those scenes in the trailers when the twin brother speaks to what do you call it, Dickie in the jail,
right?
I thought I would have never seen that coming. I didn't know he actually killed him.
Right.
Exactly. And we didn't know that he was going to have a brother, and that would have been, and he would have been playing his brother too.
Yeah.
Right. I will say I did think it was funny because I thought Dickie was lying when he said, "Oh, excuse me, the blind kids that were playing baseball."
That was a lie. It had to have been.
It was
no.
a lie,
The
right?
kids were at the funeral. The kids were at the funeral.
Really?
They were sitting in the front row wearing the baseball uniforms.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even think.
Wow, I didn't even catch that.
Juwaan, I
They were
didn't
in the
even
front
catch
row.
that.
Wow.
I remember when I saw it, I was
I
just
want to
like,
go back and watch that now.
I
You
was
know
like,
what,
wait,
then-
you serious?
Then maybe it was then maybe when he was taken back or telling it, he dramatized. But there's no way that actually happened. The way
I
the
thought
kids
it
were
was a
all
lie,
cheering
too.
for him,
Yeah,
and they said you're a saint.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he embellished a little bit, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the point he was trying to get across was I'm doing something so generous, like helping blind kids play baseball.
Yeah.
That when you hear it, you're just like, that doesn't sound right. Like
I thought
none of
that was a joke.
sounds
I
right.
thought it was a joke.
So did I.
They were
Yeah,
at
so
the
did I.
funeral. They were at the funeral. While you guys go, I'm gonna pull it back up and double check.
No, you're probably right, Juwaan. You're probably that's an amazing catch if
Yeah,
that's
no, that's
true.
great. Yeah,
Juwaan, I do want to ask
you.
you one question because I was talking about this with James earlier when the movies had ended for us. Going back to how Vera played Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know the old saying, or as the therapist would tell you, that normally a son will marry a version of their mother. And
Right.
Melfi actually said that to Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And he said,
He said, "What are you
argued
saying?
with
You
her.
want to say I want to fuck my mother?"
Yeah, you were saying you want. Now, do you think, and I don't know if this was done intentionally or just maybe the way the makeup looked or whatever, when Vera did her thing as Olivia Soprano, she reminded me of a younger Carmela as well.
Yes,
I think so.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
There was moments where I thought it was her.
Right?
I mean, no, it's
Yeah.
Vera. It's Vera. But it's very close. It's very close. Yeah. Yeah, that's how great of a job she did. But it is true. Carmela at points was very unbearable. Not as much as Tony's mom.
Yeah.
But almost there. So clearly Tony had a type.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he cheated so often was he wanted to get away from the
True, yeah.
That was his escape. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm looking here, and it is the scene where the kids are in suits. One kid has the school hat on with the S on it, but they're all blind in like the front row.
Oh wow! Okay.
I totally thought that was a lie. I thought that was a joke because all he did was tell lies to the uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the one. That was the one truth. That was the one truth.
All right, James, I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, I loved the movie. I think it was a story that needed to be told. You know, it was actually, if you think about it, it's the evolution of Tony. So we get to see how Tony got started, where he gets his, how he was brought up. Obviously, learning everything from Dickie, and then and just all the characters, everybody in the movie. Everybody did just a fantastic job. Like in the beginning, like we said, I know we said it earlier. It started off a little bit slow, but as it went on, as it picked up, as Tony got older, it just got much better. And like I said, all the characters, everybody did a fantastic job. I loved it.
Now, you had said earlier when we first talked about it that the only character you weren't crazy about was Silvio. The way what's his face? I actually have it written down. John Magaro plays Silvio. Did you have a problem with Silvio, Juwaan?
Not really, but I think it might be because maybe I don't remember it.
Not that I had a problem with him. It just didn't.
No, I'm just asking you to clarify. Yeah.
Just to me, like it wasn't exact. I mean, but then when you watch them all together, like Paulie, Silvio, and Pussy,
yeah,
it all it worked out. They all played off each other.
Now I thought John Magaro does a great job with. And I said this to James on the phone. I thought he did a great job with mannerisms. Now his voice might not have matched,
and the facial expressions.
The facial expressions. Yeah. Now is the voice going to be 100%? No, there's just no way. Yeah. I think Vera did a great job with Livia's voice and how she spoke. Yeah. But again, what it really came down with Silvio was his mannerisms. How he walked like that. It was just weird. Yeah. Now, Sylvia, I almost called you Silvio. Juwaan, do you remember in The Sopranos? And this is somebody who's watched it so many times over the last over 20 years, and I might have just forgot about it. But did you know Silvio wore a hairpiece?
No. Okay, so there are only two things in my lifetime that have completely thrown me off. It was when Steve Harvey had announced that the hair from the Steve Harvey show was always a wig and he's been bald since forever. And then that. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, because remember, he was so keen about his hair.
Yeah.
Keeping it up tight.
I never knew he did either. Yeah.
And it was just like, that was weird. But outside of that, he nailed it. I thought he nailed it.
Now, Mike brought up something before we seen this because we were going by trailers. Because I was watching a breakdown a few months ago when the trailers first came out, and they were showing you or telling you who was who in the trailer, right? Because they weren't saying it on the screen.
Right.
And the guy pointed out Silvio, and Silvio had a comb over. And I was telling Mike, I was like, "There's no." He said, and he reminded me. I think there is actually a scene where Tony's in the hospital and Silvio is the acting boss. And he's under a lot of stress. I think somebody's ringing the bell to pick up the money or drop off money, whatever it was. Right. And the wife went to go answer the phone. He's in the bathroom, and I think there's a scene or a part where you can see where he might have a wig. Now we know that Steven Van Zandt wore a wig. We know that was a wig anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, Silvio itself looked like it wasn't in the right place, or he was bald or something like that. So I missed that, and I never
it threw me off when I seen that. Yeah.
See, now that we see it like this, I kind of wish the show played into that a lot more.
Yeah.
Just at any random moment, you kind of see him going like this. to
Yeah, and they
straighten
never
it out.
did.
Yeah.
I still to
I
this
thought it
day
was
can't
great.
believe that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah. So James, besides that,
So
go ahead.
yeah, like I was saying, like everybody did such a fantastic, and Michael Gandolfini. I mean, his mannerisms, his facial expression, the spitting image of his dad. I
Yeah.
mean, every time I watch it, like you had to do a double take. Like, wow, he looks like. I mean, it looks like James Gandolfini. It's crazy.
And the younger one, the one that was even younger than that, the one before Michael
I like
Gandolfini
it.
came
Oh
on.
yeah, we said looked a little bit like AJ.
He looked
when
like
he was
AJ to
younger.
me.
Yeah,
He looked like
Mhm.
a smaller, pudgier AJ.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
And like Tony, like it was a mix of Tony and AJ. When
Mhm.
AJ was when a lot younger, obviously before is it Matthew? What was his name? Something Eiler.
Robert
I don't
Eiler.
remember.
Is Robert Eiler?
Robert Eiler.
Before
yeah.
Robert Eiler got
Mhm.
older on the show, obviously. When he was younger, he was pudgy, he was, whatever. But
Mhm.
so that's the AJ that I remember. But yeah.
Yeah, I want to give Michael a lot of credit because stepping into your dad's shoes,
Mhm.
and these are all-time transcendent shoes to be stepping in.
Yeah.
I thought he did great. And I think people have to also remember he's not playing the Tony that we know.
Right.
We're seeing the rise
He's
of
playing
what's
exactly.
to
Yeah,
come.
he's playing the young
The Tony
Tony.
that
Yeah.
we know. Right.
I
mean,
agree.
because you saw it, he wasn't quick to get angry as
Nope.
we know him to be in the series. That's
Mhm.
something that progresses as he
Mhm.
goes.
Yeah.
We saw it start beating up his friend after he got out of the phone booth.
Right.
Mhm.
And then we saw it again throwing the speakers out of the window.
Mhm.
Yep.
But we're seeing it start to bubble.
Yeah, we seen him on the ice cream truck too when he had the guy
Right,
pinned down.
right.
Yep.
So when a lot of people say like, "Oh, that wasn't Tony," it's like, well, that's the point. It's the rise of
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, obviously he wasn't trying to be exactly like his dad, because he was technically playing something we hadn't seen,
Mhm.
which was Tony being not way younger, but a teenager essentially, or
Yeah.
a young man rather.
An adolescent.
Um,
Yeah. Mhm.
So I loved it when he's holding the baby and the baby starts crying.
Yeah.
It's like what? What did I do? And then the grandmother's just like, sometimes babies just know. They just have that feeling.
Which apparently was an inconsistency. I don't know if you know, but Christopher and Tony are actually only 10 years apart in the show.
Right.
So that was the only thing. But then David Chase came out and said sometimes when your memory as a child is a little bit off. So what
Yeah.
Christopher might have said on the show from his memory, it might have been a little off. So who knows?
And
whatever.
I love that too. I love the fact that they use Michael Imperioli's voice to narrate it.
What
thought
does
that was
Michael Imperioli
fantastic.
say exactly when they move up to the suburbs? He says Tony. That's when Tony became half a pussy or something like that.
Something
remember.
along those lines. Yeah,
Right?
it
He says something like that when he goes. I think that's when.
my estimate. That's what he says. In my estimate, that was
Yeah.
when Tony became half a pussy. In my
Yeah.
estimate.
Yeah, when they moved up to the suburbs.
Yeah. Mhm.
I love it, man. This was awesome. This was just great to see everybody back.
Yeah.
Obviously not the ones that we know from the series, but to see the characters come back in some shape or form.
Exactly.
This was awesome. I loved it, and like you said, this was a story that needed to be told.
Definitely.
We thought a sequel is what we needed.
Mhm.
Who knew a prequel is what we needed?
Mhm.
Well,
This was great.
they could have, and this is the one thing I might have wished they would do. What they would have done, unless we're going to get something extra, and that's what we're going to get into now. We were talking about that backstage before we went on live, and I just want to dive into that a little bit deeper. But before I say that, the one thing, if they're not going to do anything, whether it's a series, with Michael Gandolfini, with the more of a rise,
Which
they
could
do
work.
that if they wanted to,
Mhm.
or if they wanted to do another movie, which they could. If they don't do that, the one thing I wish they would have done, and what made me think of this more, was the whole thing that James had told me, and I was telling you this, Juwaan, before we went on, about how Edie Falco actually, I think, filmed a shot or a couple of shots as Carmela Soprano, and they were supposed to put her in.
Mhm.
What I thought would have been nice, especially for the fans that did get a little disappointed with how the series ended in 2007, they could have shown present day Carmela Soprano
Right.
and gave us a little bit more of a definitive answer of what happened to Tony. Now, we obviously know James Gandolfini's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So for them to move forward, if they wanted to, present day, just for a shot, not for a movie, a shot, it would have been nice.
Yeah.
And you
Just
even
to
made
see
a good
what
point.
he's up to. Yeah.
Carmela maybe moving through the cemetery, maybe even visiting Tony's grave.
Perfect.
I
Yeah.
mean, you even could have had what's his name, who was narrating the entire movie.
Christopher. Yeah.
It could have shown Tony's grave.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And him just narrate saying,
Yeah.
this is how it ended.
Yeah.
Yep.
On that fatal night at
And
the
this is how it begun.
and now
Yeah.
this is how it begins.
This is how it began. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the director very much enjoys the idea that no one. It's like it was
I know.
Inception. It was Inception before Inception.
100%. 100%.
It's the first real time we had to fill in the blanks on that magnitude. So I think he enjoys it. So I think it's something he probably will never want to answer.
No, and I 100% get that. I really do. And I was just telling James that I know it's something that David Chase, which by the way, too, I don't know if you picked up, he has a cameo in this film.
Nope.
Yeah, David Chase has a cameo in this film. I was telling
I had to
James,
go back and watch it, but
James didn't catch it
see
either.
the back of his head, really. You don't
it was
really
like an
see
hour and I think I said it was an hour and 26 minutes and I believe 8 seconds. It's after the last guy gets killed. He gets shot in the head when Harold is shooting everybody, right? And they're at the funeral. That old man that comes in and goes into the room and everybody's talking and Anthony says, I really wish I knew what they were saying. That's David Chase.
Oh, okay.
He's playing a character called Ercole DeMeo, who is the crime boss, the boss, the leader, the boss of the DeMeo family. Who Jackie Aprile, I think, eventually takes over. I'm not if I'm not mistaken, right? Doesn't Jackie Aprile take over the DeMeo crime family? Okay. So that's who that is. Because I actually put the only reason why I know that is because I put on the captions. And when somebody said it, and said it in parentheses or whatever brackets, Ercole. Now, I immediately thought for a second, Ercole was, I don't know if you remember this, Juwaan. Ercole, spelt differently, was Johnny and Junior's middle brother. The one that Junior had said was mentally ill. They didn't know. He said we had because Tony was dealing with stuff. And he said our brother had it, but nobody knew how to treat it back then.
Right.
He ended up dying, but he was Ercole Soprano. This was Ercole DeMeo, spelled differently.
Gotcha. Okay.
So David Chase does make a little cameo. Look, I did like I told James I thought it started off a little slow, but at the same time, when it picked up, it picked up.
Yeah, and it picked up right away. Actually, not
it did. No, it wasn't
yeah.
too long. I'm not saying this movie did not feel long. I enjoyed it pretty much almost the whole time.
Yeah.
I did like a lot of the nods to the series. Like we had said earlier, the amusement park bust. I liked Pussy saying "hop along, kiss at each" because he said that in the show a couple of times. So did Vito, though.
Yeah.
Vito said that one time too.
Yep.
The scene where Junior slips and falls and he yells, "Your sister's cunt." That's something that was a classic Junior line.
Yeah, definitely.
Once again, a nod to Corey Stoll and the great job that he did.
Yep.
I just felt like all the characters just did so well, including Paulie Walnuts. The character that played Paulie Walnuts. What else? Hold on.
I love this scene with Paulie where they're taking the drill.
Yeah, the jacket.
Guy, and he's just like, the jacket. Like, come on, man.
I just got this jacket.
Trying to keep this clean.
Yeah.
That was just so awesome. That was, oh, man.
And one of the main things, and you pointed it out too, Juwaan, there was the fact that we finally found out that Corrado Soprano was in fact the one that put the hit on Dickie Moltisanti.
Yeah.
And like you said, for the most pettiest thing. That's all it took.
Petty.
And I had a feeling because you didn't see who it was, right? He gets shot.
Because they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that in the show either.
No, you don't, because remember, Tony told Christopher it was a cop or a former cop.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, we don't know that he didn't enlist.
You're right. Actually, you're right.
We don't see who cop to do the job. We didn't see their face. I'm not saying he did. Tony still could have just been, throwing.
No, but I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, Juwaan. We don't see who it is.
Could have been. Yeah. Could have been. For sure, it could have been.
Now, I know James, don't answer this because you already know it because we asked this over the phone. I want to see if Juwaan remembers. So, obviously, at the end, before Dickie gets killed, right? He tells Silvio, tell Anthony to meet me 9 a.m. Don't be late, right? Anthony is at the place, Holston's, I think it's called, right? He's waiting. He obviously doesn't know that Dickie's dead.
Right.
Do you remember the significance of Holston's?
That's the. Was that not the last time we saw Tony?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was.
Yep, that's the last scene. Yeah.
Holston's was where they were eating, where Tony got onion rings for the table.
Yep.
Outside Meadow Soprano, supposedly, I mean, I just couldn't fucking park a car.
Bro, when I tell you, let me just say, that was probably the greatest directing I've ever seen. Because he drew everything out so long.
It was intentional to
Now-
make you feel uncomfortable.
Now, to be fair, there are people that are just bad at parking. So I get it taking her an awful long time. But what made it funny was, to a lot of people, it's like, shit, is somebody about to come and like just pop her in the car?
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, when Tony gets up, is someone going to pop him in the bathroom? Like,
Exactly.
it's making you go, oh, just get it over with. I can't
And
take
didn't the bell? Wasn't there a bell on the door? Like when
Yeah,
I walked
every
in,
time
the
somebody
bell
came in, there
constantly
was a
went
bell.
off? Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every
And it
time
made you
somebody
even
came in.
more nervous because like
Exactly.
some of the people that would come in and then stare at Tony. Tony would stare at them, and it's like, do you know him? Are they
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? What's going
Yep.
on here?
Yeah.
And then it just a fade to black, and you're like,
And then you got the guy with the members only jacket that ended up going to the bathroom. And the speculation and the rumor is that he actually did come out and kill Tony from the back. That's the whole rumor and the speculation. Obviously, it was never confirmed, but the speculation is that that is in fact happened. And there was another theory that I loved going, and I know this has nothing to do with this, but we'll just want to say this really quick. The one theory I did like later on, years later, I read it, and I said, you know what? That might justify the ending a little bit more. And and everybody always pointed to that one episode. I think it was it was either the first episode of the final season, or it was. What was it called? Home Movies or something like that, James?
Soprano home movies.
Soprano Home Movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the episode where they're on the boat and
With him and Bobby?
Bobby tells him what he thinks happens when he dies?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
when we die, everything goes to
Exactly.
black?
Yeah.
Well, one fan theory is that we were the ones that were killed. We're the ones that were whacked. The audience, because it went black on us.
That actually makes sense.
And that actually, if that was, and I don't think that's what David Chase intended,
No.
but if that's what he intended, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what. Maybe he doesn't even truly know. But there were talks of, before, rest in peace, James Gandolfini had passed away, of doing a sequel.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, you literally killed the entire Soprano organization.
Pretty much,
So
yeah.
it's like, if you're going to do a sequel, Tony had to have still been alive. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, what would the Sopranos sequel have been about?
There were two things I remember when the series was live. And I'm almost positive this is true. I might be wrong. It might have been one of those, just my friends just spitting bullshit in my head. But I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that there was two clauses in two different character contracts. One, Paulie Walnuts, Tony Cicero. Is it Sirico or Cicero?
Sirico.
Sirico.
Paulie
I think
Cicero.
Paulie Cicero, yeah. I think Mike said that one time too, right?
He did, yeah.
So he had it in his clause or contract, I believe, that he would never be a rat. So he didn't want that written in.
Mhm.
And I'm almost positive Tony had, or James Gandolfini had in his contract that he wasn't going to be killed. I honestly thought that I remember seeing that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it was. I know that Paulie Walnuts or Tony Sirico said that he does not want to be a rat in the show. Do not write me as a rat in the show.
Yeah.
I thought the other one was that James Gandolfini said, I don't want to be killed. So again,
Maybe.
you could be true. You could be right. Maybe we were going to get something.
Look, we're 20-something years from that, and we still don't know.
He might have left it open because of that reason.
Yeah.
Hey, I might want to revisit this. I don't want to kill my main character. Not knowing, obviously, and rest in peace, obviously, that James Gandolfini was going to die in real life. But I'll tell you one thing, though. That ending, like you said, the one that brought you to tears, when he's at the casket, and very slowly, very subtly, and then it starts picking up the Alabama 3 song.
Yeah.
Mhm.
the boom, boom, and then the pinky swear,
Uh,
and then right there is when he becomes Tony Soprano.
mhm.
Yeah.
He was Anthony almost the whole time,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's when he became Tony Soprano. Dude, I got goosebumps when I
I
was
got
watching that.
pumped.
I didn't cry, but I did.
I
I got hyped. I got
That
hyped.
was
I'm-
cried,
perfect.
man.
That was
It was.
perfect.
I didn't cry because it was sad. I cried because it's just that's
Just
how you.
emotional. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Hmm.
You know him like because remember the last thing that his uncle was saying was how he wanted to keep Tony away from all of this.
Right.
Yeah.
He should have never brought him into it. And in his death, it only further launched him
Yeah.
into the career that he never wanted him to be in. So, like you said, you hear because when I started to hear it, I'm like, because it's 3 a.m., so I didn't want to blast my TV too loud. I'm like, wait, like I know that song, so I'm like, let me turn it up more. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then when it really gets into it, when it ends and it starts to hit the credits, it's like,
And even when Dickie pushes him away, that fuels him even more.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
You know?
When he wouldn't answer his phone call, he's hanging up a phone on him.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up throwing the speakers out of the window and stuff like that.
Yelling
So
at his dad. Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
I took that as opposite. So I took that as when he was pushing him away, it made Tony not want to be a part of anything that had to do with his uncle. And it was
Okay.
only his death.
yeah, because he said that.
made-
You're right. That line. He goes, I don't want any of
want
this.
any of
And,
this.
and
Keep
John
it all.
Barenthal, Johnny's like, what this?
Yeah.
He's like, what are we
What
talking
this?
about here? What happened? But
Mhm.
yeah, because remember, he was telling him when his uncle was showing him the speaker. And he was saying, look, I can't get caught with this. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be a part of this. I want to play football. I want to go. I can't do this.
Yeah.
His uncle was just like, oh, who cares? Just take it.
Just say that. Just all you have to say is it's the last time I'm going to steal anything.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
There you go. It's that
Yeah.
simple. So I think in him dying, it made Tony feel as though he owed it to
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
to live up to what he was.
I got you.
Um,
Good point.
and-
Very good point.
I will also say it's funny. The last time Tony interacts with the family, right? They're kind of just like, kid, your uncle's not here. Go home. Go home.
Mhm.
Little do they know, he's gonna be their boss.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just so crazy to see how in what 5-10 years, maybe if that, Tony's the guy.
Mhm.
He's the new guy. So it's just crazy to see how everyone's looking at him like this little kid. Get away, and it's just like, you're my boss.
Yeah. Even interactions with Silvio.
Yeah.
Like you say, yeah, even the interactions at the door at Silvio, like, Merry Christmas, kid, or whatever. But also too, there was one other thing I wanted to say. I had it write down, forgot what it was. Damn it. I did have one other thing that I read, but I forgot what it was. Oh, there was I did find this hysterical. When he was younger, before Michael Gandolfini comes in, the younger Tony, when he's taking numbers, because he's learning it from the family, and he's taking numbers at the school, and the kid's in the band, and he hears it on the loudspeaker, the number 16, and goes, I hit the number. Dude, I started laughing hysterical at that, but obviously, and that's when Tony gets suspended from school, but I thought that was funny too. I
started laughing when the girl came in and was just cursing. She's just like, whatever, just give me the fucking thing, whatever, who cares? It's just like, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and I did love it that we kind of saw a glimpse of Tony's future. His teacher or principal, she might have been his principal. She was essentially his first therapist. She got Tony to open up in a way that Tony just doesn't open up.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I believe it was in that moment that it was kind of just like it fed more. Because remember, you're not supposed to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
There's not supposed to be any sanctuary where you give any secrets.
Nope.
At any point.
Nope.
Everyone was against therapy. So the fact that like his mom was very against whatever the principal was saying. Yeah, no. Whatever. So to know that he kind of got his first therapy session when he was young, and then you fast forward, because therapy was so important to his life in the series. I thought was a pretty cool mirror to where it's just like, okay, so Tony has always needed an outlet to talk to somebody. and he's always found someone to reach out to, and we see how that kind of progressed. So I thought that was cool.
And speaking of therapy, or speaking of the mom as well, actually too, Dickie dies with the medication that Anthony asked him to get
Mhm.
for his mom
Yeah.
on him. It was in his
And they,
pocket,
they said they
and they
had,
just
in his
assumed,
pocket.
and the mother assumed, Livia assumed that he was on it.
He was taking it. Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, they jumped to conclusions over there in that Soprano house.
Oh yeah,
They're just like, your sister always comes here smelling like weed, so you smoke it. It's like,
yeah.
how do you connect those dots? That's her. Why am I pulled into this?
There was another thing that I appreciated a lot, and again, I'm going to probably pick up more things. And again, I know it's fresh in your mind, but this is also a series that I've watched in the last 20 years. I've watched, and I feel like I almost every year, maybe not every year on the dot, but at least every other year I do revisit it.
Mhm.
There's the running gag with Junior, and James knows what I'm talking about, with Junior putting down Tony, telling him he's never going to have the makings of a varsity athlete.
He says that at the
So
table.
when he's at the table telling his father about making the football team or whatever, I knew it was coming. Was it Johnny or Dickie he was talking to?
It was Dickie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's telling Dickie about the football team. And then I knew, Juwaan, I knew it was coming. And then all of a sudden it pans to Corrado, and he looks over at who was it? What is his wife?
Yeah.
Or probably girlfriend. I don't think Junior was married. Junior was never married.
No.
So whoever it was, whatever girl that was next to him, he said, never had the makings. He doesn't have, he don't have the makings of a varsity athlete. Loved it.
I mean, I also loved how his mother was saying, like, where he was like, I'll talk to the kid. And it's just like, no. You always weird him out. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't
talk to
understand
Dickie.
you. He
Yeah.
don't understand you.
Yeah. He doesn't understand. And then again, like you said, it just goes to the rivalry that the two of them had, which would have been a lot more severe had he known that Junior was the reason he lost. Literally, I'd say he's probably closer to him than he was his own father.
Yeah.
So if he had ever found that out,
Definitely
might have been good.
Yeah, that is true, which pretty much goes to show. And again, I'm not saying that he couldn't have known or couldn't have been told later on in life who it was that actually put the hit on Dickie. But here's the other thing. I know he gave it to, and that's what leads me to believe that wasn't true. Because I know he wanted maybe either win Christopher's trust. And I think that's why it was said as a lie, because he was trying to win Christopher's trust and win him over. But somebody as critical as that to your own life growing up, now that we've seen the movie, I'm Anthony, I'm killing the motherfucker myself.
Yeah.
That was my father figure.
Yeah.
So, that's why now going over this in my head right now, I'm starting to think that maybe that story was bullshit. And that was just to win Christopher over a little bit more and give him his trust and make him feel more comfortable with him in the series. Because there's no way he would have known without knowing. At least I don't think. He finds out who kills him. I think there would have been a trail leading to Corrado at one point.
100%.
So,
100%.
But yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do with this. It left me wanting more.
I do have one other question now. And I asked this to James. I asked James this. I think he said he wants a movie. If you had to pick, what would you rather? Would you rather another movie, or would you want a series? Sort of like The Sopranos. The Sopranos stuff. It doesn't have to be called The Sopranos, but just make it into a series now with these characters at this time, in this time period.
I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I just don't know how far they could go with it. But
because I think the end game obviously is to lead up to where we pick up.
Well, I'd love to see Tony like in his 20s and see how he.
Because the other thing is too, what was the and I'll ask you this because I asked this to James and he really didn't, and I don't know this either. What was the significance for? It was sort of basically it was an end credit scene of seeing where Harold was.
That he actually succeeded in what he was trying to do.
That's what I had
right,
said.
but I mean, it's only because Dickie's dead, right?
Well, yeah, essentially, because Dickie would have probably killed him.
Yeah,
he not died.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I do believe this is another thing. We don't have to get too deep into this.
No, okay.
This is another thing that I picked up on. You remember how this could have just been the time, but
okay.
You remember how Tony was just not fond of black people. Just was not really fond.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
What
gave a
if-
lot of shit to them, especially remember the time he got pulled over by the traffic
Yeah.
cop?
Yeah.
So what if the story that was fed was that his death was because of the beef that he had with
That's
you know what I'm
possible.
saying?
Yeah,
You
that's
never know.
definitely
It
possible.
was because obviously you see the rest of the crew was not cool with it, right?
Mhm.
But they understood it was just business. That's what everyone kept saying. It's business. It's not like he's part of the family. Relax. He's not
Yeah.
dating. It's just business. But they were so against even doing business. So I think maybe the seeds of that is kind of what kind of grew into the series to where it was just like, I don't even want to do business. You know what I'm saying?
Well, plus
I think maybe it fed into that.
they also knew there was beef between Dickie and Harold.
Right. Mhm.
So that could very well be the story that was fed to the family.
Yep.
That it was a gangland killing, or it was a drive, something to that nature. And who are they going to pin it on? They get to pin it on with the last person that had beef, but they don't know it's Corrado
Yeah.
fucking killing him over, making fun of him falling.
Right. Can I also say,
Yeah,
shout out to Tony's dad. I don't think I've ever seen more precise shooting than him just randomly shooting and it hitting that one van.
the van with the driver.
Yeah,
Right before he was gonna shoot him. It was just like
Yeah.
that was like, okay, all right, come on. Like
Yeah.
what was that? Like the aim was just impeccable.
Yeah,
With a handgun. And it was just like, okay, all right, whatever. Okay.
I thought Dickie's the one that does it.
Was it Dickie?
No, when you get a chance, rewind.
No, I think it
go
was
back.
Johnny. Yeah, it was
You
Johnny.
sure? Because I thought it was when so when Dickie's behind the car, he just reaches. Is it Johnny or Dickie that reaches over and just shoots blindly like that? I thought he was the one that got clipped the van at that point.
It was Dickie that was shooting
Blindly. Yeah, I think it was.
blindly.
I
Yeah.
think he's the one that takes out the van, not realizing, because the van is going in the intersection at that point,
Right.
and then blindly gets clipped.
Right.
I could be wrong.
No, regardless of who it was just some of the best marksmanship
Yeah,
I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's just like it all played out so perfectly. It was just like, okay, all right, okay.
yeah,
I definitely want to watch it again now. Just from talking about it, I want to go back and watch it again.
Yeah,
Now,
there were-
now I want to watch Sopranos again. I want to watch it
Yeah.
all over
And I
again.
will say the woman that Dickie was with,
yeah.
I love how they made the story come full circle. So at the beginning, it was very much like, you used to hit mom like this. You're not going to hit her like this. I'm not going to allow it.
Mhm.
Only for him to go in the opposite route.
Right.
And so angry, he
Yeah.
murders her.
Yeah. Fucking drowns it.
Like,
Yeah.
I think he now understands where his pop was coming from. So
Exactly.
Well, I was telling.
he has a way at kind of eating at you to where it kind of just sticks you in your craw a little bit.
I was telling James at the scene right before he drowns her, right when they're eating, right after he tells her, they do whatever they do in the bathroom, and he tells her about the beauty shop. They're eating. She's like, "I'm hungry," and they start eating. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, look, this relationship is progressing. We know Dickie gets killed. I don't know who this character is in the Sopranos world. Something has to happen to her. And the very next scene, she's telling him, I'm like, all right, she's dead. I already know. I mean, nobody. There's nobody that was watching this film or is going to watch this film and doesn't see that she's about to die in the
Oh
ocean.
yeah, there's no doubt about it.
As soon as she was just like, I was just like, oh no, don't say it. Just
Don't
Yeah,
say.
when she
got
said,
everything you want. Just
And
That
when
was
she said,
it.
she could have said any other name. I think it was because it was Harold, because of the
yeah,
beef that they had.
100%. Yeah.
well, also remember, they kept leading up to that. She
Yeah.
kept staring at him. He
even told him.
I
he-
love that scene. That is my favorite scene out of the
Can you
whole
talk to me on this side?
Yeah,
Is that
when
the
he's
one?
like, excuse me, come around here and
Yeah, talk to me on my side.
Yeah, talk to me. What are you doing? And then he tells her like, hey, don't smile at them. Like they don't like them. Don't do that.
Yeah.
The way he was saying that was very much like they were like creatures over there. Like don't look the dog in the eyes. Don't do that. They don't like that. But no, I loved it where he's just like, no, come over here and you talk to me. Don't keep looking at my woman. So I definitely thought that was hilarious. And shout out to Dickie balancing taking his actual wife to family events and taking her everywhere else.
Yeah.
No one batting an eye. Everyone just like, Okay.
Well, I mean, that's also though that is, and for a lot of people, especially, I mean, I'm Italian, so you know that's kind of like, I'm not saying that I think it's right, but that was kind of the culture, and it was actually known even by the wives that there was always going to be somebody on the side. They
Yeah.
just didn't want to know about it.
Yeah.
That's how fucked up it was. I know it's fucked up, but it's like, I mean, and Carmela knew obviously from from the Sopranos series itself,
Yeah,
but
I mean, even Livia knew, and she looked like she was okay with it too.
yeah.
Not,
But see-
not that she was okay with it, but
Sopranos was the first time I ever saw something like that, so I thought it was hilarious how Tony could do whatever he wanted. But the second she was interested in someone else, he was just
Yeah.
like, "I will kill you, and
Yep.
I'll kill him." And it was
Yep.
like, wait, so you can do what you want, but I can't. Like, right?
when it went from the priest to the
To
wall
Furio?
it went for the decorator
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep.
who was, I think, the Cusamanos, right? Wasn't it a
Yeah.
friend of the
It was a-
brother of Cusamano, the
You're right.
wife,
Yeah. Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then Furio. I was like,
Mhm.
oh shit. And when she told, that was Whitecaps.
Yeah.
Wasn't that in Whitecaps?
That was Whitecaps. Yep. Yep.
Wasn't
That
it
was
on
season
Whitecaps?
4 finale. Whitecaps. Yep.
That's when she tells him about Furio,
About
right?
Furio. Yeah.
And he punches the fucking wall instead of
Yeah, I've
her.
been dreaming about Furio.
He never hit her.
Yeah.
You ever notice that Tony? I'm almost positive Tony never lays a hand on Carmela
But he put
unless
a hole.
pushing her.
He fucking choked her. I think he chokes her or some shit.
All
like
right, so
that.
he's not that good of a man. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that back.
To be fair, in this movie, you don't ever see his dad. Oh, obviously, the gun to the hair is.
He had every reason to hit Livia too. I'll tell you that.
Right.
I'm not condoning hitting women, but if there's
No,
any
not
woman
at
that
all.
needed it, Livia. Oh God. There was one other question. Oh, one other thing I do want to that I picked up that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I already mentioned it to James. I wanted to bring you into it, Juwaan, and then we'll wrap up. There was another line by Johnny Soprano. I think he tells. Did he tell Livia or did he tell Anthony? He was telling somebody that he's got to go. He's taking a flight down to the dog track.
The track, yeah.
Is that a nod to? Remember the episode in The Sopranos, or I think it was a couple episodes in The Sopranos, where Tony goes down to a track that was actually owned by his dad or something like that, and it was supposed to be given to a woman that he was seeing on the side. And he had to get Hesh to agree to give her, because I think Hesh is the one that took it over, and she was owed money. Remember, and it was a whole thing, like she had the sailor hat that John F. Kennedy wore, and she sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to him. It was creepy because she was older than him.
She was older than him.
I don't know if you remember that.
He was kind of like attracted to her a little bit too.
Yeah, that was in the series of The Sopranos, and I don't know if that was a nod when he said, "I got to go try."
It makes perfect sense, though. Now that when you bring that up,
because it was a horse track, but wasn't it also a dog racing thing too?
Yeah, it was.
I remember the dog racing thing. I don't remember the other part. But
was it Hialeah? I think it was Hialeah in Florida. I think that's what it was.
I don't know. I can't remember where Tony goes, but Tony ends up giving her whatever, and then and that's it. But yeah, other than that, dude, look, I thought the movie was solid. I don't understand why the bad reviews, especially again, if you're not really a Sopranos fan.
I was reading some of them on IMDb, just user reviews.
And the thing is, and this isn't people that are just nonchalant fans. These are Sopranos fans that are saying it, right?
That's what's bothering me. And actually, I read on Facebook, Kathy DeSalvo, who's a Sopranos fan, she was like, I wish I would have got my money. Thank God I didn't go see it in the theaters. I would have got my money back. I'm like,
what?
I'm like, why would you say something like that?
I don't know. I don't know what people
want. What am I not seeing that these people are seeing that unless I don't know what they're going into it expecting. But I mean, it's a prequel. What do you want?
No, and Juwaan said you couldn't have said it any better. It was the perfect ending. It really was. The way they ended it was perfect.
Awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, that was that's in my top 5 best endings ever, right up there with Man on Fire. How Man on Fire.
It was great.
Yeah.
To me, I like I said, I have not one bad thing to say about this movie. It was literally the perfect story to give us. Out of a story a lot of people years ago would have argued we didn't need. So for you to not only make it, but to make it necessary. It's what I told you, Joe, about Black Widow. I kind of left that movie going, I didn't need this. Like,
exactly.
I didn't added anything to anything.
Yep.
But this was perfect. This is exactly what we needed. We've just gone too long without anything Sopranos. So this was, to me, this was perfect. And if they want to continue it as a show, as
Yeah,
a movie,
as a movie. Yeah, by all means, go right ahead.
Yeah, and I felt differently before I seen this. I'm not gonna lie. I felt differently. I didn't know what to think about possibly making it into another series. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna be it would be a reboot, but future stories definitely could be told. And
Mhm.
and the fact that Michael Gandolfini did do such a great job, and so did these other characters do a great job representing these characters that we grew up loving, or you grew up. I mean, not grew up, but you binged and you watched and you know. And it was a great callback, like you said. I mean, you even picked up some things I didn't pick up right away. The hair thing, there was a few other things, but it were really good callbacks. And I think they wrapped it up. They wrapped it up nice to a point where if this was a standalone film, great. But as a fan, you left me wanting
You're
more.
left wanting more. Yeah, exactly.
especially with how well everyone
Yeah.
pulled off their characters. I'd love to see Corey come back as Junior
Yeah.
Yeah.
and see how that progresses
Hmm.
till we get to the point where we know season 1, where they're obviously at odds.
Yeah.
Like, where did that go wrong? Where they were so much at odds.
Well, yeah, and also because once Dickie's gone, who is the mentor for Tony?
I don't think he really has. I think it's kind of. Man, you know the saying where it's it takes a village.
Hmm.
Yeah.
More so him just kind of soaking in everything around him.
Yeah.
And then kind of just learning on the go, really. Because I doubt his dad sits him down and teaches him.
No, I don't think it didn't seem like he had a good relationship with his dad.
No, but I think he builds a relationship with Junior, and I think that's probably what we'll see too. Yeah.
And that's what I would like to see. And the other thing
Mhm.
too, I don't know if I was telling James this too, the ice cream truck scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that the one that helps him keep the ice cream truck driver down is Jackie, Jackie April. It's said that the way the Johnny finds out about the ice cream truck thing is Tony B tells Janice. Now Tony B was played by Steve Buscemi in one, I think, season 5, right?
Yeah.
Who's Tony Blundetto. So I think Tony Blundetto or Steve Buscemi as a young kid is the one that actually drives the ice cream truck. If I'm right, because it doesn't really say, it doesn't state. I watched it with the subtitles. It doesn't say who it is. I just know that Jackie helps him, Tony, hold down the ice cream driver. That's it. So other than that, all right, guys, that's pretty much it. All three of us think that this film is definitely worth watching, especially if you're a Sopranos fan. I don't think there's any question. If you grew up watching this series, new or old, honestly, because I mean, Juwaan is a perfect testament to that. Is the fact that he just watched the whole series last year. Especially if you grew up watching this, it was great to revisit these characters, told from a different perspective. And it was just so good, and the callbacks and the Easter eggs. I know I missed some.
That's why I want to go back and watch it again.
I'm gonna probably watch some. I'm gonna try to find some breakdowns, see if anybody caught things that I didn't see. But James, Juwaan, I appreciate you guys coming on. I'm glad I was able to share this with you. And guys, for you at home that were watching live earlier, we actually had a good amount of people come in and out. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about this. Are you Sopranos fans or whatever? Obviously hit that like button, subscribe to the show. I believe I have both of your links in the description. I'm pretty sure I do. If not, I'm going to go back and change that, to your shows in here. So guys, give them a follow as well. And that's pretty much it. All three of us give this 2 thumbs up.
Yep.
And I kind of want to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Same.
Now tomorrow, Juwaan, are you still in on the Friday the 13th? Have you seen it?
Oh, the first one, right? Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
All right. Because we're gonna do a little discussion tomorrow. As of now, it's just the 3 of us, unless Kitty can make it. She said, I don't know if she can.
Okay.
But that's the next thing I have. James, what's the next thing you have coming up on your channel?
I got tomorrow. I got the 30th anniversary of Nirvana Nevermind. We're doing a little segment on that tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yeah, that should
my
be fun.
channel.
30 years old. Never mind. And Juwaan, what do you got coming up on yours?
Well, we just did Marvel Cinematic Review for
Yep.
the latest episode of What If.
Yeah, you did.
That was a lot of fun. And me and Tia will be doing our review of the Mini Saints of Newark tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Tia is still in her process of watching Sopranos, but she's probably the world's biggest Corey Stoll and John Bernthal fan, so she had to jump to watching it. So we just have that coming up, and then I will be introducing our horror movie show within the next few weeks. But we got Comic-Con next week, so.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so it's a busy month. It's going to be a busy month of October, guys. Please go check out their channels. Like I said, I'm almost positive it's in the description. If it's not, it's going to be by the time you guys watch it anyway. Guys, have a great night. Enjoy. I want to make sure today was Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys soon.